Mr. Anderson, are you there yet? All right, so I'm not sure how well this is going to work, but I wanted to give you guys a little different kind of Q&A, something I haven't seen in the past. Now, so what I'm going to try to do is have you guys, hopefully you guys can have both windows open. I'm going to be answering all of the questions over here on the YouTube channel. So if you guys, sorry, I'm trying to get situated. So if you guys are interested in asking some questions, they're going to be kind of over on YouTube. And then we're going to have some other people that can log on to Zoom if you guys kind of want to interact over there. I thought it would kind of be cool to be able to see people's face and see who we're talking to. So if you guys do log on to this call and you guys are going to go over to Zoom, try to change your name. Usually you can go in the lower left-hand corner into your YouTube name. So that way I know who's here. There's a guy, Clark, here, and I don't know who Clark is. So why is the hand in the cast? Well, good question for the Q&A. So Brian, let's put you up for the first here when we get a few people in here, because I'm sure that people are going to ask again why my hand's in a cast, and we'll talk about that. But again, if you guys want to log on to the Zoom call, you guys can do that. That way we can see you. We're over here, but we're going to be answering all the calls on the YouTube. So let's see. All right, mute that. And let's see if we've got anybody. We're not in driving mode. All right, so I'm just going to put up your guys' questions on the screen, and I'll answer them, and then hopefully we won't get repetitive. So the hands, it's actually just a soft wrap. So I actually had carpal tunnel surgery on Wednesday. I've had this hand done in the past. You guys can kind of see the scar. So, you know, with me riding as much as I do, the bike puts a lot of pressure on my palms, and I had carpal tunnel surgery done on this right hand about 4 years ago, and the left hand I was starting to have issues again with numbness at night when I'm sleeping. It doesn't really want to stay awake. So it goes numb and it's kind of painful. But riding on the bikes, the issue that I'm having now is when I pull in the clutch, I can't feel the clutch. So it's kind of a hard question, or kind of a hard for me to ride. We've been doing a lot of track riding basically this summer. So on the track, it's not as bad because really I pull in the clutch at the end and I let out the clutch at the beginning. And so we have this on until next Friday. So I'm kind of off work right now for a week. So yeah, so we'll have this, the stitches come out on Friday, and we've got a couple things planned for a couple track days and a street ride and stuff like that for November. So hopefully this will be good. So I hope you guys got that answered. Brian, thank you. We'll move on to the next question. Anthony, so the new carbon wings on the Streetfighter. So you know, when I was at Button Willow, I felt like they really weren't working that well. I was in a headwind at, you know, going into a 40-mile-an-hour wind, and that bike, man, in traction control 7, still wanted to wheelie at 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. So I kind of figured with the headwind, it would want to plant me down more. But I was just at Thunder Hill last weekend, or last Friday after this last one, and they seem to work. They seem to work fine. So no one's interested in the Zoom call. I'm like on a Zoom call by myself right now. So yeah, so the carbon wings, I mean, you know, they seem to be working, but I don't really know. You know, it's kind of also hard to tell with that Sport Naked. It's, you know, what's working and not. So, but you know, and I'm still kind of mixed up with the look. I kind of like the look, but at the same time, I kind of like the wings. So I don't know. We may end up taking them off. The bike's up on the lift right now, where we've got lots of stuff going on. We have a lot of things happening. So, Matt, yes. So, and that's what's kind of cool about this. Look, I'm not gonna not answer anybody's questions today. So if you guys have questions, I'm gonna answer them today. There's obviously things that I keep away from the videos and stuff like that. But Matt, I did mention that some pieces for the S1000 are coming. I was contacted back when the whole SC project thing happened, and a company called Strauss Carbon Fiber contacted me, and they really enjoyed the fact that I talked about the workmanship and the quality of the carbon fiber on their can, and how I kind of called out SC project. And so Strauss reached out to me and said, hey, you know, we've got all this carbon fiber stuff. And this bike really, I'm getting some carbon fiber stuff into the bike, but a lot of it's fake. So I have ordered basically a whole accessory body kit. The main body, the headlight shroud, the gas tank, the tail will all be normal. But the accent pieces will have a carbon fiber frame cover, swing arm cover, front fender, rear fender, side tank covers, top tank cover, a bunch of stuff, heel rests, or the sprocket cover, basically all kinds of different accessories. So I think retail wise was probably $2,500 retail wise. I did get a good deal with them, so that's why I kind of ordered the whole kit. But stay tuned. It's been 2 months. I'm a little disappointed in the time with them, but I think that they're kind of making me a set to make sure everything's perfect. So I'm hoping to get those received soon. So stay tuned. So Matt, I hope that answered your question. Yeah, our moderator here, Thomas, thank you. Let's do the like-a-palooza. Let's do this. Smash the like button, baby. So Thomas is one of my longtime followers. Thomas, thank you for everything and being here. So Cali Track Days is obviously not going to be happening, but as much as Bogna hates it, I'm going to probably try and do, for you California folks, an exclusive Cali Moto TV track day at some point in 2022 at either Thunderhill or Buttonwillow. Most likely Buttonwillow, only because we have a better relationship with Buttonwillow. Thunderhill is so we might work with Thunderhill, or we might work with another vendor. So we'll see, but definitely no real plans for Thunderhill as a track day. So and a lot of people, Kevin, if you've ridden with me, a lot of people ask me every time they see me there. So yeah, RPM carbon, I haven't heard too much about, but I've heard that they're kind of bottom of the barrel. So hopefully your quality comes back good. So we'll definitely see that. James Hook, you saw my survey. I threw it up last night. Really trying to get some good interaction with you guys. It is not been 100% confirmed that they are releasing a Streetfighter, but as you can see, they've said there's a new Streetfighter in town. There is the possibilities that it's going to be a Streetfighter V4S SP, which people have projected that that's going to be a bike that's going to come out for 2022. But with the discontinuance of the Ducati Monster, the big Ducati Monster, the 1200, basically, I think that Ducati's got this gap that they need to fill, and the V2 makes sense to be filling it out. So I'm excited for the 11th. Maybe I'll have a little viewing party with you guys, but I'm excited to see the announcement. Hopefully, the 11th will be the announcement. So, yeah, I'm not following too much on the RS660. There has been some talk about an RS660 RF or a factory style. I think that you guys with the RS660, if you're here and you own one, I hope all is good with you guys. If you're here for the RS660 and you haven't bought one, I would definitely wait until 2022. Let Aprilia get all their little issues sorted out, because it was one of numerous reasons why I got rid of my RS660. But like I said, it's the 2022 model for the RS660s, hopefully going to be the year. So, yeah, so I kind of called it at the beginning, Thomas, you know this. But Aprilia was basically is just going to sweep the floor with Moto America. I think there's going to be some finer stipulations with Moto America this year. So I believe the RS660 is going to be having some more regulations put to it. But Hayden Schultz got on that R7 and really did actually pretty decent for basically hopping on, I think, 2 races, and I think he finished in the top 5. So I think the R7 is going to come after that RS660. I think that the balance with the RS660 is that the RS660 has electronics and the R7 doesn't have electronics. Is one of my biggest disappointments with the R7 is it was really, really stripped down for the price. And for the price, how is an Italian manufacturer putting all this stuff on? So we'll see how the RS660 kind of works out. So let's see. No one's over on the Zoom call. So if you guys don't mind going over there, let's see. You have a Streetfighter V4, it's best bang for the buck, carbon fiber wheels, or the Terminioni up map. So I would have gotten the S. So I would probably say definitely get your suspension dialed in for the non-S, the base. The best bang for your buck, carbon fiber wheels or the slip-on, the Terminioni slip-on with the up map. As far as performance-wise, obviously the exhaust and up map is going to be the best bang for the buck. It's probably one of the first things that I would tell most people to do. Forged or carbon wheels, as far as handling, if you are a real aggressive track rider or you guys are a real aggressive street rider, that's when you're going to benefit from the carbon or the forged wheels. Unless you're putting down some serious times out on the track, the carbon wheels aren't going to make that big of a difference. But from a cast wheel to a forged wheel, it's going to make a little bit of a difference. But, the S1000R is still running cast wheels. So I'm doing all right with it. But, this thing is stupid. So let's see. For all the mods you've made on the Streetfighter, which one would you say is the most beneficial and why? For the Streetfighter, the most beneficial, I would say, would actually be the brakes. Putting the RCS 17 Corsa with the Brembo pistons, or excuse me, the Brembo rotors, and now I'm running EBC brakes. That combination was probably the best, most beneficial thing you can do. Now, exhaust and tune, that's fine, but realistically, the thing has so much power with the stock exhaust that, you know, it's not that beneficial. Rear sets are okay. Usually I say rear sets, usually I say levers. But one of the things that I noticed with this one particular personally was the brake system. So Brent, I would say the most beneficial mod that I've done to this thing is probably going to be the brake system. So look up that. Let's go on to the next one. So, all right. So the Paramount Tactical, the question of has always been up. First, I can't justify $8,000 to have the exhaust installed in the state of California, and pretty much U.S. wide. No Ducati dealer will install the Akrapovic exhaust any longer. So the Akrapovic exhaust is, I don't really care for the sound. It's kind of not great. The Terminioni exhaust that's on right now sounds better than the Acro, but I really love the way the Aero sounds. So it's really a price, and I really don't like the look of the Acro. I think that it's missing stuff. So you know, it's one of those things. So it's really, I think it's more of a preference. So hopefully that answers that question. What's up, brother? All right, let's go on to the next one. This is not really a question. So is your name Fabio? I'm assuming and you're from, where are you from? South Africa, I think. For some reason I feel like that's where you're from. This is kind of why I was hoping to be able to do the Zoom call to kind of see where put better faces with other people. But so the engine braking on the Streetfighter V4 versus the S1000, there's more adjustability. The Streetfighter has just basically a lot more adjustability. Wheelie controlled, it's like 8, where the S1000 has like 3. The engine braking, I think, on the S1000 has 3, and I think the Ducati also has 3, if I'm not mistaken. So it's comparative. I would say I like engine braking myself. So personally, I've got it dialed up to max, I guess, which is 1, I think, on both of them. So yeah, so it's definitely it's comparable. The Zard exhaust, I don't really know. I don't know. The exhaust on this thing is just I don't know. I'm back to the Terminioni. The Terminioni exhaust is back on. You guys saw I posted a picture the other day. So I've got a big boy spring on there now. So the hopes is the new spring will help keep this exhaust off the ground. I don't know if it will. You can kind of see that it kind of angles back a little bit. I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. So so you know what's funny is that so there is going to be all right. This morning, I thought how funny it would be if they actually released a Monster V4 instead of the Streetfighter V2. it's not practical. I don't think that they would. But you know, with Panigale and you know the Multistrada going that route, I don't know that they would do a Ducati Monster V4 and a V2 and a Streetfighter V4 and a V2. I think that they're going to put that V2 out on the market is what they really would. And you know, a super sport in a V4 and a hyper motard, it kind of is, it defeats the purpose. So I don't see that. I don't see that that would be happening. So let's see. Are you still considering replacing the Bren tune on the S1000 R? I am not thinking about replacing it. I actually like it, and I've not had any issues with it. So no, I am not probably going to be replacing the Bren tune at this point. Now I will tell you guys, you know, a lot of you guys email me and ask me about Bren tune and who tunes who. I think that there are certain tuners that are a little bit more specialty. So I think that that the Bren tune is basically, if you have a BMW S1000, Bren tune is, I think, the go-to tune. If you guys have a Streetfighter, I think the go-to tune is actually Open Flash, and I think that that Shiv has a much better tune, a more detailed tune. Or I am still running Upmap, but and it's good. It runs, the Upmap is fine, but for the S1000R, the tune is great. The V2 has the Upmap tune, and it seems to be running fine. So, and we do have the new tune and header and delete for the XR. I just haven't gotten to it, so we'll be working on that, the XR soon. So, let's see. So I did not find anything for my boot issue. I actually, I don't know if you guys saw a post or me talking about, I had taken some heat shielding and I wrapped it around the boot and it just immediately burned off. So I have no solution for the boot burner and the aero exhaust. So we're not going to be running the aero unless this doesn't work out again, or that Terminioni, like backwards in this, then we'll see how it goes. We're running short on questions, so enter your little questions in the comment section below. And while you're there, smash the like button. Makes it easy. So yeah, so the wings, I talked about the wings earlier on. Yeah, I like them. It's a different look, but I don't know, functionality wise, I'm not sure if it's better or worse. I kind of, the first time I rode it, I was into a headwind at 40 miles an hour, and the bike was wheeling in like 7th gear. So I kind of thought initially that no, but at Thunder Hill it was fine, and I didn't have that many problems. So yeah, so we're the wings are good so far. Quality, we'll get into it. Hopefully they're better quality than the belly pan that I just returned. Let's see if anyone catches on to that. Would you recommend any gearing changes on Brent? Give me a comment down below on the Streetfighter, the S1000, and then we'll come back to this one. I don't know. I mean, honestly, the boot burner really is on that long straight when I'm down the straights at Thunderhill or on the back straights on, and it's wide open throttle, I mean, that thing is just pushing out the heat. I don't know that the DB Killer would answer any, it would be beneficial to keep that heat down. But I would venture not. So, yeah, it kind of sucks. Recommending any gearing changing for the Streetfighter. All right. So, Brent, I would not recommend any gear changing. If you changed anything, I believe it's got a 16 tooth on it, stock from Ducati. I did go 15. So whatever it came stock with, I went one down, and the bike was like unrideable. It was just so stupid. I rode it to San Francisco, and the thing was it just really wasn't good. If anything, I might actually try going up one to what the Panigale is, which is 17 tooth. I'm not going to have as much drive out, but I'll get a little bit more top end, which I don't really need the top end. So gearing change recommendations for the Streetfighter, don't change it. Just leave it be. So, so the RS660 is not going to be coming back for the mods. The gentleman that bought the RS660, I believe, has now sold the RS660 in addition. He continued to have issues with the bike and decided, I think, to part ways with it. So I was hoping to be able to get the SE Project exhaust on here, which now I'm glad I kind of didn't, just because of the whole issues. But yeah, the RS660 is gone and won't be back for any future modifications. So sorry, Eric. More thoughts on the over suspension. Never quite got a good work and improved things. I just finished editing up. It will be out this Wednesday, I believe. A full in-depth suspension, over suspension work with Dave Moss. And I will tell you, Thomas, it works. It works 100% as intended. We went all the way through. We tested it all the way up, almost all the way down, and you can see a clear answer via the tire that it's working. So the video, it's a little lengthy because it's got Dave Moss in it, and I gotta let him talk because everyone roasts me when I cut him off. But the 40-minute over suspension, fine, does it work video is coming out, Thomas. So that'll be great. I had so when am I buying my first electric bike? I had an electric bike. I rode it twice. I bought the DRZ or the DS, the Zero DS. It was my old cop bike, and I rode it once from here to the base of Berryessa and back, and barely almost made it. And the second time I rode the bike, I took it to the fish store because it's got bags to pick up fish food. And the battery is supposed to last 100 miles. The fish store was 60 miles round trip. And the bike ran out of battery 20 miles from the house. And I was in super eco mode, which was like, wouldn't let you go over 55. Like I was, so I don't think electric bikes are going to be for me unless there's going to be some big stuff. But electric bikes probably not going to happen. So, so James, the Streetfighter, the Panigale is hotter than the Streetfighter. I don't really have a complaint with the Streetfighter's heat. The issue is almost none. The V2, the V2 is hot. It is, it's hot, and the fan kicks on and it just blows more heat. So, you know, as long as you're keeping moving, it's not an issue. But if you guys are if you're doing some just some basic street rides or in town and stuff, that V2 gets really hot. So so the speed triple, there was no particular order that I put that in, except there was, but no one's commented yet. So I'm waiting for the question. I want to see this speed triple in person because it actually looks pretty dope. And after the Triumph Tiger, I probably value-wise probably won't buy another Triumph unless I buy like a couple-year-old one where it's already diminished in values. As you guys know, I buy and sell bikes. I'm constantly buying and selling bikes. I'm keeping the collection fresh for you guys. But the Tiger 1200, I bought and I thought was going to be, I thought it was a great deal, but it ended up being a horrible deal because the value of Triumph just continues to plummet. Wagner was almost going to buy that Moto 2, what's the race bike, the Triumph Moto 2 bike, and shit, you can get them brand new for like $12,000 right now. It's a very good bike to buy for the price right now. It's kind of like MV Agusta. MV Agusta, if you just wait a little bit, there is a lot of price adjustments that can come down on that. So so Nathan, why did I sell the RS660? So, all right. So we haven't talked much about this. So go ahead and sit down and I'll give you guys a little backstory of the RS660 and the Aprilia Tuono. So we sold them both pretty much immediately after an issue that I had with a person that works for Aprilia North America. I had posted the video of the bike going in limp mode. Now, I try not to bash things too much, but there's sometimes that I'm going to post up a video and let you guys know that something's going on. And the limp mode video really wasn't actually a bad video. Someone had commented on the video talking about how, Aprilia does all this stuff for us, and he can't believe that I'm bashing Aprilia the way that I do. And I replied back with the comment of, Aprilia doesn't do anything for me. Aprilia didn't do anything for me. I paid full retail on all of my bikes. They didn't buy or provide me any parts. The only thing Aprilia ever did for me, which they actually didn't do it directly for Cali Moto TV, but Eurocycles was able to get us the 2 track days. Me and Bogna went to Austin through Aprilia. Those 2 track days were provided to us at no cost. We, of course, had to pay the thousands of dollars to transport down to Austin and do the Austin track day, but the 2 tickets for the Austin track days were provided to us from Aprilia. But Aprilia is never, like all of the Aprilia track days that you see us attend, we actually paid for all those track days. They never invited us into any track days or any press launches. Now, there was 2 parts to it. So this person that commented ended up being an employee and had made another comment to somebody else. And when that person had told me that comment, I was like, wait a minute, that's the comment that's on there. Well, at the same time, I was trying to get with the press launch for the Tuono 660, because the Tuono 660 was, it's very much like the RS660. And at that time, I was the biggest content creator on the RS660. So I was talking to Aprilia about trying to get to the press launch. and Aprilia said, hey, you know, maybe we can do the RS V4 launch at Laguna Seca. And I said, hey, look, I'll pay my own way to get to Laguna Seca. Give me a bike, I'll be there. And it got turned a blind eye, and they never invited me or anything like that. And then everything happened with the one issue. So I decided, you know what, I would rather support a brand like Ducati and Alex with Ducati North America. When I go there, I feel like I'm family at Ducati. You know, BMW hasn't done anything bad for me. They haven't done anything for me. But it was the same instance with Aprilia. So I just decided I would just not like to support their brand on the channel. And if they didn't want to support me and me doing videos for their motorcycle, I just decided that I would rather not have Aprilia in the garage. And so that's kind of why the Aprilias have gone. Sorry, that's a long conversation, Nathan, but in short, that's basically what happened. So most exciting potential bike release for 2022. Thomas, I'm going to go with the V2 Streetfighter. If they do the V2 Streetfighter, there is a pretty good opportunity or a pretty good chance that we will be getting a V2 Streetfighter. So stay tuned. So engine ice. So look, the people ask me about the cooling sinks on the Streetfighter, and look, the bikes run and operate at a particular temperature. There's thermostats that are going to run it at that particular temperature. Then there's fans that kick on that keep it from running and overheating. Little things like this and engine ice does help provide a little bit more cooling, but it's not like they say that this thing cools your bike like 20 degrees. Absolutely not true. At idle, the bike is going to idle and run at whatever temperature that thermostat is set at. Now, when you're riding the bike and air is running through it, then of course you got air running through it and it's cooler. And on a hotter day, it's going to run on the hotter temperature, but on a cooler day, it is going to bring it down. But engine ice isn't really a bad thing to do. If you're draining the fluid out of your radiator and you end up wanting to put the engine ice in, it's a good thing. But I don't think it's really a necessity. So so Stefano, is this Stefano from the old Wheels of Moto? Hopefully it is, and hopefully we'll be able to find you somewhere in the future. I'm kind of reading these questions as I'm putting them up here. I've just replaced the Streetfighter with the V4R. What benefits would you removing the air restriction? Steve, I would like you to comment down below real quick to this question. Do you like the S1000R better than the Streetfighter? And the reason why I'm going to ask you this question is because I have a video coming out that's going to be talking about the S1000R. But the benefits, the tune on the S1000R and the airbox removal and the flapper delete opening and everything was hands down the best modification you can do on that bike. It made that bike what the bike is supposed to be with all of the Euro regulations. These bikes are just being snuffed out basically. So I think that I think it is very beneficial to do a tune, delete, and exhaust on the S1000R, and I think it will. It livens the bike up. It's a whole different bike. So I definitely Oh, so it's definitely it's definitely worth it. If you guys want to go into the Zoom call, no one's really gone in there. So you guys are welcome to head over to the Zoom call. Here is the meeting ID and the passcode. If you guys would like to go over to the Zoom call, let's see how many people are in here. 25 people. So if you guys want to head over to there, the Zoom call was really designed for me to be able to put a face with your name. So if you guys want to head over to the Zoom call, I can take a look. I got the phone set up right here, but yeah. So, back to Steve, and then you said the geometry on the. You said the geometry on the Streetfighter or the S1000R is better, because I found that the geometry on the Streetfighter is actually more relaxed. Bars are up a little bit higher, pegs are down a little bit lower. So I feel like the Streetfighter is a little bit better ergonomic wise, but I really, really love the S1000R with the new rear sets. I brought it up about an inch on the rear set, and I really, really do like it. So, but I'm really starting to really, really, really love the S1000R, and I'm not sure why there's a couple people coming in, so it's asking for permission. So my apologies on the Zoom thing. Do you see a benefit with the dry clutch? So, James, dry clutch conversion in the iconic sound. Look, if I was running a Ducati 851, I would definitely be running a dry clutch, right? Maybe an older school Monster, I would run a dry clutch. This, I wouldn't be running a dry clutch on. I don't really like this bike with the dry clutch, and with the dry clutch you come more maintenance. So the dry clutches have to be replaced every like 4,000 miles, I believe. So if I had a dry clutch on this, I'd already have to replace the clutch. So I don't see much benefit for the dry clutch. So correct, Mario. And in sense, your thermostat is what's controlling your cooling. So, on a cooler day, yes, it will cool a little bit more. But if you're at operating temperature, let's say we're at a 90-degree day here in Fahrenheit, the side cooling duct and the engine ice and auxiliary fans, they're not necessarily going to keep your bike running at any cooler temperature, because the bike is designed to have that thermostat and have that bike running at 210 degrees. So at 213 degrees, the fan turns on to cool it back down, or that air comes through. So typically you're not going to see a big thermostat drop on the Streetfighter or on any of the bikes, because it's trying to work to achieve that thermostat number, which is like 200 or 190 or whatever. So sorry, and I'm reading these as we're going. So there's a lot of the Cordona quick shifters is actually been really, really good. Me and Bogdan have been figuring out the Cordona quick shifter on the Streetfighter and on the V2. And we're figuring out it's kind of learning and stuff. So the auto blip on the RS660 was pretty decent. But if you have, I'm not sure what the IRC quick shifter is, and it wasn't smooth. It's probably just a programming issue, I would assume. But I would look at, for the Ninja 400s, I would look at the Spears Racing HMI, HIM. They're I forget which it's H something. It's a quick shifter system that they have. Spears Racing sells those. For Ninja 400, that's what I would go with. So yeah, so if you're getting the RS660, if it is already ordered, like I said earlier in the conversation, I would wait for a 2022 personally. So that's just my opinion. Yeah, no more RS660. I've got nothing for you guys on RS660s, but no one asked me the question. I was hoping that people would ask me. I got two things. So Nathan on the RS660, yeah, I don't know. I think the throttle is I think the throttle's kind of short on the RS660 if I'm not mistaken. It's not a very long throttle. So most sport bikes, they put shorter throttle tubes on it. But I know for the Streetfighter and the V2 and the Panigale, you can buy even shorter ones. I think this is like half turn, and I think there's quarter turn. So so we're gonna start wrapping. We're gonna start wrapping this up, and I'm only gonna answer one question, and that's the question I have that I want someone to ask me, and no one's asking me. What was I gonna say? Oh, just as an FYI, don't go. One Only X-Ram is in the house. He had his little live call. He had his little live video because he's big time now. I'm surprised he even hangs around my channel. So on Wednesday I had the surgery, and on Thursday, I actually quit caffeine completely, 100%. I know you guys probably don't see it right now, but I'm ready to go to sleep. I have, it has been 4 days now that I am absolutely 100% caffeine free. The reason why I did it was because here, yeah, so Zoom call. Anybody want to get on Zoom? You guys can get over on Zoom here. Here's a Zoom call meeting. So I drink 2 to 4 cups of coffee in the morning, and I drink 1 to 2. Oh, look at Cheese Ball over here. I think there's going to be a delay, but Chris, I don't know if I've got the volume down over here. Are you there? I don't know. I can't hear. Chris is over here on Zoom. Goofball. Yeah, there's a delay. Oh, there you are. So no caffeine, 4 days. I used to drink 2 to 4 cups of coffee every morning, and in the afternoon, if I only had 2 bangs or 2 energy drinks in the afternoon, it was a good day. So I have completely decided to caffeine, no more, 0, no more caffeine. I'm drinking diet A&W root beer and 7-Up and all that other aspartame stuff. I guess that'll be the next thing. So here, let me, what's up with the O'Valley real quick? The O'Valley, Bogner wrote it yesterday. It's pouring down rain here. It's kind of like New Mexico monsoon right now. Chris, how's the weather over there?
It's wonderful. It's like 80 degrees and sunny.
It is dumping. Flash flood warnings here for today. But Bogner rode the O'Valley yesterday. I haven't had a chance to ride the O'Valley. I'm hoping to be able to take you guys on, but of course, We got another week in this. So the O'Valley is here. It's Bogner's training tool. She got on that thing and dragged her elbow the very first ride. And it has just put so much training. I mean, it's helped her so much. She is like, I can barely keep up with her at Thunder Hill. Like, she's fast on that V2. That V2 is flipping fast. So yeah, so the O'Valley is we'll get you guys some content on the O'Valley. So yeah, I don't think we talked about it earlier. I don't think they're going to do a Monster 1200. I think they're gone with the Monster, the big monsters. I kind of would be funny if they did a Monster V4. That might be a possibility, but I think the Streetfighter V2 is a better possibility personally. And I think that 1200 Monster is going to go away and probably will stay away unless they did something crazy. But you know, I don't think the monsters. Yeah, I don't think the monsters. I think the monsters where it needs to be right now. But yeah, so I think the V2, the 11th, I think would be the announcement of the V2 or the V4 SP. I think those are the only two things that they could be announcing. But I will say that I did run some stuff by Alex at Ducati, who gives me 0, and I gave him my theory of the monster and them not having the monster and that they've got to do the V2. And he's like, very interesting. So I think that that's the way we're going to go. So Gixxer 115. Yes, we've been at the Dixon track. That's basically where we're riding the O'Valley at. So I don't know if you're local, but we usually are going out there on Saturdays, Saturday first thing in the morning. So yeah, so hopefully if you're out there, we'll see you.
I'll actually be at the track next weekend.
Where are you heading?
Indy.
Indy. Sure. I got to get on it. We got to get to Indy. Indy's because that's in Tucson or just outside Tucson, right?
Wilcox. So it's like an hour and a half south of Tucson.
Yeah. So I mean, for us to go to Indy, it would either be. I mean, the only way that would make sense to go to Indy is if we went to Chuck one day and then maybe to Indy, or we hit it on the way back from Austin if we did Austin again. But I don't know. I don't know. Indy is definitely a track that's on our list, but the drive is just, it's already bad enough for us to go to Chuck. Chuck is like 7-hour drive for us, and to do a one-day track day, it kind of sucks. So good thing is that I can typically go down to LA and work in LA either the week prior or the week after, or pick up a job or two. So it kind of makes sense. So Halifax, headaches with no caffeine. I had a massive headache yesterday. Today, not as bad, but yesterday was definitely not a great day for the headache. But yeah, and then and yeah, we've seen the testing of the V2. We've seen the pictures of the V2. I think the Streetfighter V2. I'm assuming that my guess for the V2 is I think they're going to probably keep the tail the same. I think we're going to lose some winglets, and we're going to have a redesign of the front area right here. And I think the front cowl will be different. But I think the bar setup and everything will be very similar to the Streetfighter V4. I think the instrument cluster will be the smaller instrument cluster from the V2. So I think that they're going to carry over everything that they have on the 2021 Panigale V2, just with the redesign up in this area and the front nose. I would assume that they're going to do a different nose on it, but I think the tail will pretty much be the same just because they're already the same. So so we're looking for that in on the 11th. So hopefully we'll hear from that. So thoughts about Ducati going electric?
That was my live stream.
Was it so? So what was your thought over there?
So I did a whole thing on EVs in general, and I like the direction it wants to go.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing can replace the visceral sound of a V2 or V4 thumping and ripping.
Yeah.
But if they can make the riding experience just as good with the acceleration that electric bikes have.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good trade-off.
They
It's just
can't.
there's a long way to go.
They can't. They can't. So Chris is one on the X Ram. If you guys haven't seen his channel, check him out. But I've been on zeros. I do want to try that new Damon bike, but as far as the look, we've got to be able to have better range. When I go and ride, typically my loop is 120 miles, which on most EV bikes currently, with the way that I ride, will never make that loop. So I think that that's going to be our biggest issue is the availability. And then what do you can't. I rode, my zero broke down and I had to go get I had to take an Uber back to go get a truck, to get my truck to tow the bike back. It was a pain in the ass. I don't think that motorcycles are really going to end up being a big electric vehicle, battery vehicle. Cars, they're making them work, but cars, you've got a ginormous size you can stick these batteries in. We've only got that much room to put the batteries in, so I don't think it's going to happen. So we'll see. So let me show you. I'm gonna wrap this up here, and we got about 5 more minutes. No one has asked me the question. I'm dying for someone to ask. I said this is no holds bars. We've talked about the Aprilia. We've talked about why I got rid of Aprilia, which I've never talked about before. This is huh? Aprilia sucks. Just sell your Aprilia, Chris. But this is I'm answering anybody's question today. So if there's a question, ask me it down below. The Streetfighter versus the S1000R, which is a better track bike? Gixxer 115. The S1000R is a better track bike. So I have a video coming out that I talk a little bit about it, but I kind of do some flyer laps on the S1000R. The S1000R, I said, if it was a ball, it would be a perfect sphere. It is so perfect all the way around. Now, the S1000R doesn't have suspension like this bike, but I don't really need it. Me and Dave Moss have dialed in the suspension on the S1000R to be really, really adequate for the track. I'm actually feeling better on the track with the S1000R than I am the Streetfighter, just FYI. The brakes are stock S1000R to Streetfighter. The S1000R has better stock brakes. The brakes right now on my Streetfighter are much better. But the S1000R brakes are good. The suspension's good. The ergonomics are good. Just everything. I just really like that S1000. It's just a great bike all the way around. So I think, now I'll say it still, on the street, this Streetfighter is the bike for the street. But the track, I think that this just has too much. This is too much bike for the track. And to put this much bike on the track, you've got to be on a Panigale. You've got to get more aggressive. You've got to get better stance. You've got to get better wind protection. So I don't think that's, yeah. Thoughts on a Super Duke? I can't give you any thoughts. I've never ridden a new Super Duke. I don't like the way that the Super Dukes look. I feel like the Super Dukes was kind of a one-hit wonder. They always do it every couple of years. They come out with a really great bike, and then they don't really do anything with it and continue to do anything with it. I haven't heard anybody talk about a KTM Super Duke 1290 on most of my posts in the last year, honestly. So when we first got the Streetfighter, everyone was all about that Super Duke, but I don't know. I got to get a hold of one day, but which is better, city or road bike? I'm assuming you're talking about Streetfighter or the S1000. The city S1000, road Streetfighter. So if you're riding around the city, I think the S1000 is more manageable. But if you're on the back twisties and stuff like that, which we need to get back out on, the S1000 is definitely a much better one. Still,
you're gonna get a Brutale.
I don't know. Bonna's been talking about doing like an MV Agusta. She's been talking. She wants an F3 800. So
the F3 and Brutale are phenomenal machines. They're the Brutale is the most angry inline four I've ever been on.
The problem is that how long do I have to wait for parts when it breaks down?
Yes.
So I mean, look, I'm not bashing it. I'm just saying that the dealer even told me, look, if something breaks down on this, you are going to be at least a month to 3 months before you get a part. Pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. Finally, someone has asked the question, when are we expecting it in the stable? Who caught that? Chris, did you know I was buying an S1000RR?
What's that?
Did you know I was buying an S1000RR?
I did not.
Someone doesn't watch my videos that much. Or
watch them on and off. I got school. Come on.
Or someone doesn't watch them until the end. So we here, hang on, I'm trying to get my Zoom calls here. It is going to be here in the next 7 days. So we have ordered a 2022 S1000RR in mineral gray with the select package and forged wheels. So the 20, and I'm going to talk about the 2022s and what BMW's changed. I like what BMW's done. 2021, they kind of put the M package up on a pedestal from the blacks or the reds. But now what they've done is for the 2022, the S1000RR is a level playing field. Actually, the M package is going to come with the M seat and the M battery and the M couple other M things. But outside of that, it comes with forged wheels. You have the option to upgrade to carbon wheels, but the mineral gray had the option to go to forged or carbon wheels as well. There's only one package available now. It's called the Select package, which gives you the Pro Race mode in all of the bikes. So not just the M series, but the Midnight Black and the mineral gray and the M all are going to have the Pro Race settings, which are those extra 3 back settings, which were prior only available on the M package bikes. So so BMW is doing a little bit of a change here for 2022, and I think that's with the introduction of the M S1000RR, which I don't see a purpose for it, but yeah. So we are going to be we're just waiting for the call that it is arriving, and we will have a delivery video up for you guys. So I'm super excited, and this is going to be a joint custody motorcycle. Both me and Bogna are going to be riding the S1000R. So and if you follow Bogna So Tiny But Fierce over on Instagram, we'll start having the BMW up there. So really excited to have the S1000R. Basically the first thing up is tune and flapper delete. So yeah, so then Gixxer, don't get the M, not worth the price. I agree. Yeah, so the S1000RR is still going to be Euro 5, so it's still going to be restricted. We'll get the flapper delete, we'll get the tune, we'll get the exhaust on there, and we'll open it up. So so Philip Wise, what's your first bike? My very first bike was a 1987 Honda VFR 700. That was my very first bike. and it was it was good. A couple, probably many dozen bikes since then, but yeah, it was a good little first bike. It was kind of a good starter. So
I love the S1000RRs.
yeah.
They're like, I get off and I never turn around and look at it again.
This mineral gray's got me looking at it all the time on Facebook and on the interweb.
Good looking bike.
Yeah.
It just doesn't do anything outside of it.
Yeah. So John, so this will be our last question here. We're going to wrap up this little call, but two questions.
Off here, buddy.
All right, Chris, good seeing you. Thanks for coming by, brother. Two questions real quick for John. The new bike is going to be the S1000R, which we're taking delivery in the next week. So stay tuned for that. Have we come up with a definitive conclusion on the over suspension? Yes, the over suspension video will be out this week. It'll be out on Wednesday. I did some very in-depth testing with Dave Moss, and the over suspension is confirmed. It does work, and it does actually do what it's supposed to do. We did multiple testing at Thunder Hill. We went around, 2 sessions, warmed it up, looked at the tire wear, turned it all the way off, looked at the tire wear, turned it up, looked at the tire wear, turned it up, looked at the tire wear, and we could definitively see the over suspension working in a correct manner. So much so that we were able to fine tune it so much that the tire looked beautiful when we were done with it. So definitely a big plus on over suspension. So but thank you guys for sticking around and seeing some of the live stream. Not many people came up on the Zoom thing, so I probably won't do that much anymore. But the 34 of you guys that are here right now, hit the like button. Let's see all 34 likes hit right now. And then stay tuned. Tomorrow we're going to be having the Streetfighters out on track at Thunder Hill after we dialed in the suspension with Dave Moss, which will be on Monday. And then Wednesday will be the over suspension, so stay tuned for that. Then we've got I was on Bogna's V2, and that'll be out. And then the S1000R was on track, so that'll be out. And then, of course, the delivery of the new motorcycle, that will be coming. Manny with Moto Millions has a box full of parts for the new bike already on its way. And then once I get out of this, hopefully we'll get on the Avali and get you some Avali stuff. But thank you guys so much for all the support. We just hit 6 million views on the channel. We are trying to grow as fast as possible. So the 28 of you, do me a favor, share some of the videos. Make sure you guys are subscribed. That's a big thing. Share your videos, get our videos out, and let people know. It's a great motorcycle channel. So thank you guys for sticking around, and we will see you guys on the next video tomorrow for the Street Fighter. But thank you guys for hanging out with me on this rainy Sunday, and we'll see you guys later this week. Bye, guys.